Hey Amanda, welcome. We'll get started in just a couple minutes. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll get started in about 5 minutes. So if you want to grab something to take notes with or a beverage, you've got plenty of time to do that. See you in a couple minutes. How's everybody doing tonight? If you hear my cats running around, they're hungry and ready for some pets, so they might be purring in the background. My dog is upstairs. We will get started in just a couple minutes. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Robert, tell us about Rebound Birmingham.
Yeah, hey everybody, good to see all y'all this evening. For those of you who have not been to a Rebound webinar, Rebound is a collaborative of 16 organizations that work in what we call the ecosystem. And we have come together to develop content and provide technical assistance during this very challenging time. So it is my absolute pleasure tonight. I've never been allowed to do this, so I'm looking forward to this, to introduce Catherine Zobrey. If you've been on webinar calls or the rebound calls, you know Catherine because she's been on every single one of them. But I don't know that y'all know exactly how accomplished she really is, and it's pretty impressive. So Catherine is a business advisor for the Alabama Small Business Development Center. She works, I think she said she has about 1,500 clients, but Catherine has been all over the world on 4 or 5 different continents, serving entrepreneurs. She did some time in the Peace Corps, which is amazing. Has a BA in political science from the University of Maryland and an MS in international development studies, get this, from the University of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So highly qualified to do what she does. So looking forward to this evening's presentation.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction. And really, you know, as Robert said, I don't have an MBA. So a lot of this is stuff that I have learned from mentorship from folks that are much more experienced than I am, like the folks at Rev Birmingham, and just through the Alabama Small Business Development Center network, as well as our partners at the Birmingham Business Alliance and the SBA. Learned so much about financing from Hope Credit Union and Pathway and the Page Group and True Fund. So the names that you see on this screen tonight are really the names of folks that you can reach out to and rely on. There's no limit to how many folks you get in your team. So build an entourage. So we're going to cover a lot of information tonight. So a couple housekeeping things. First, this webinar is going to be recorded, as are all of our webinars. And so you can find those on our YouTube channel. So the easiest way to get there is to just Google YouTube Rebound Birmingham. And you can find our upcoming events at our Eventbrite page or on our SBDC calendar. And you can find Rev specific events on their website as well. So with that, I'm going to jump into the presentation, starting off with a little bit some housekeeping. Let's see. Okay. All right, can you see my presentation? Holiday prep party.
Yep, good to go.
Okay, great. And I will be monitoring the chat as we go. Thanks, Lisa, for the response. So a couple housekeeping things. First and foremost, I recognize a lot of names here tonight, so that's great. The Alabama Small Business Development Center provides no cost one-on-one business advising and technical assistance, as well as these types of trainings. And so if this feels like a lot, if it feels like too much and you need it broken down, or you want to focus deeply on one specific aspect, you can register for our services. If you've already registered and I'm your business advisor, please schedule a call with me and we can continue to talk about all of these topics. So everyone has started out being muted. The presentation is being recorded. And so if you do have a question, just, know that it's going to be recorded. And so don't share any secrets. Please ask questions in the chat. The chat will not be posted publicly. That is something that I'll be monitoring throughout the presentation. So if you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Catherine, please let me know. And then there'll also be time for questions and answers at the end of the presentation. So let's dive in. We're going to start with some trends. What is the outlook for this shopping season? So there's been a lot of mixed reports. Basically, economists believe that retail spending is expected to grow from, get this, -2.5. So that is shrinking. It's shrinking from last year to about 1.5. So it's got a small growth potential. It's either going to shrink a little bit, it's kind of somewhere in that range. However, the good news is, and this is why we're doing this training tonight, there's a huge shift to e-commerce. So mobile shopping, social shopping, shopping online, either through a web browser or through your phone, is growing hugely. So I think that it's like over the last 5 years, it's grown a huge amount, and this year, it's, even though the crisis is happening, it's still expected to grow a pretty decent amount. So online retail is expected to grow 18.5% in 2020. So there are more regular sort of brick and mortar commerce shops that are moving into the online space. So over 20% of retail shopping is expected to be online this season. And so this webinar is geared towards getting you a checklist, essentially putting some ideas in your head about what to focus on. And because I've called this a holiday prep party, I brought my tiny Santa hat. It belongs to my cat Oscar, who's a serious grouch, but I will sport it for just a second there. So the areas that are opportunities for brands to look into growing and supporting and leveraging these areas of potential growth are particularly outdoor sports. Now we're moving into a colder season, but Alabama and the South have fantastic weather, and we can support a lot of outdoor activities. And so if you have something that is going to be selling to outdoors or supporting outdoor activities, for example, if you are a personal care brand and you have a hand lotion that's great for cold weather, if people are going to be spending more time outside, more hand lotion to heal our hands after being out in the cold, right? Self-care and stress relief, beauty, and in particular, the beauty categories that have the most growth potential are beauty for baby boomers and beauty for masculine and value brands. Now, within that, we can talk more specifically about each of those different topics. But for interest of time, gaming, crafting, puzzles, toys, games is actually considered to be a super category this year. More people are playing more games, whether they're online or physical board games. Pets as well is a huge category with a lot of growth potential, and home fitness. And I've listed the sources of this information at the bottom. So it took a lot of digging. Okay. Let's get into the meat of this presentation. So there are a number of important dates for you to consider. For me, the big one is Small Business Saturday. So Veterans Day is coming up on November 11th. That's a date that if you're going to use that in your marketing materials, I would not use that necessarily for strong commerce. I would use that to show respect. I would use it kind of in a brand awareness way rather than a like trying to commercialize that actual holiday. Black Friday is on November 27th this year, and Small Business Saturday is on the 28th. Cyber Monday, also good for e-commerce businesses, is on the 30th. Now, Green Monday is a new one for me, but with the new focus on, or renewed and growing focus on the environment, Green Monday is expected to have a good amount of traffic this year. So if you sell green products or have products that have a very transparent supply chain where you know where all of those pieces have been manufactured and it's eco-friendly, then Green Monday is where you're going to be targeting your eco-friendly shoppers as well. December 15th internationally is an international free shipping day. If you can afford to do free shipping, that's a good day in particular to do it on. Hanukkah is from December 10th to the 18th this year, and Christmas, of course, is the 24th and 25th of Christmas Eve and Christmas there. So those are the important dates to keep in mind, and we're just going to work on that Small Business Saturday, and we're going to kind of work backwards from from Christmas, hitting Small Business Saturday, and then arriving at the present. So you've got a game plan moving forward. So how do we maximize Small Business Saturday? The first is just set your goals, whatever your goals are, and it'll be different for every business because your core values and your business style is different. You want to set your goals. So you want to have something that you can quantitatively work towards. You want to have a line in the sand to say, this is what I want my profit to be for this next couple months. This is the expansion in engagement that I want to reflect the brand awareness increase that I have. This is the total amount of revenue that I want. You don't have to have all of those goals. You don't have to have any of those goals. Pick the one that's right for your business and then work towards that. Use the shop small in your marketing. American Express has a whole package of free downloadable images and banners that you can use in your small business marketing leading up to and on Small Business Saturday. The next is to tell your story. You want to communicate authentically how you are accomplishing your small business dreams, how you're making it work, why you started this particular small business, and how you're connecting with your products, how you're connecting with your customers, what kind of community are you forming around your story and the mission of your business. And then you want to look at your numbers on a fairly regular basis. So you want to look at your numbers and see where you can offer a sale. Now, I am not a huge fan of discounts. Of course, as you know, as a shopper, I am, but as a business advisor, I will tell you this: the absolute fastest way to increase your profit, the number one way, the biggest impact is to increase your prices. So reducing your prices has the biggest impact on shrinking your profit. So be very, very careful about how you consider and how you determine what products you're going to put on sale, how long those sales are. There's kind of this myth that if you heavily discount an item, you'll make your profit margin back up in the volume, and that almost never works. So just be very careful, be strategic about what items you put on sale, and consider different ways of creating urgency or creating that draw for your customers. So take a deep look at your numbers, and we'll do some of that tonight as well. And then create a budget. So you don't just want to have a goal, right? You need a budget to match that goal. Whether your budget is $50 to spend on marketing or whether it's $500 to spend on marketing, having a budget will keep you in line and let you measure results. So if your budget is $10 to spend on an Instagram post to boost that post or something like that, you get, let's say you get a number, and say you get 100 interactions or you get 100 comments or interactions from that post. Well, then you can say, okay, $10 led to $100 of interactions, and then you can see also how many sales did I actually get from that and determine your return on investment. So these are the numbers to watch on a daily basis. First things first, check your cash balance. That should be something that you're already doing. If you're not, I would get in the habit of this. The reason you have a separate business bank account is so that you can very easily see where your cash is standing for your business. Pro tip, download the app and use notification alerts to let you know when your balance is low. Because if you haven't already started developing that habit of checking your cash balance, you'll forget, and that's okay. But having that notification will give you an extra layer of protection. Fraud happens, right? Chargebacks happen. And so say, for example, one of your customers cancels their charge through their credit card instead of contacting you directly for a refund, and all of a sudden that money is just taken back out of your account. You want to know kind of when that happens, especially if you're close to a date where you're going to have a bill coming up, and you just want to make sure that you don't get hit with those overdraft fees, because that's the worst. It's just wasted money, having those fees hit you, and it's avoidable, especially using those notifications. You want to watch your ad costs. So if you're using pay per click, you want to watch what those costs are. You want to watch your engagement with campaigns, open and click rates for email campaigns in particular. You want to look at page views and abandoned carts on your website. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. How are we doing so far? Any questions so far? I don't see any popping up in the chat, but we're getting kind of into it. So let me know what questions you've got. Okay, so those are the daily numbers to watch. The weekly numbers to watch are profit per order, and that's revenue minus expense for each sale. So that is like, say somebody goes to your website and you sell beauty products, and they purchase mascara, nail polish, lashes, curling iron, and the total is $200. That order is $200. So the revenue would be $200. The expenses for that order are going to be the cost of those goods sold, right? So the amount that you had to pay for those supplies and any shipping. So it's profit per order. Another number that you want to look at is average revenue per order. Are your ticket sizes going up or going down? You want them to go up, because the more you can sell per order, the less shipping you're going to have to do, generally speaking, right? If these are gifts going all around the country, then it's going to be a different situation. But if folks are ordering them to come to them, they're going to wrap them and then give them to their loved ones, then you're going to reduce shipping by having a higher average revenue per order. Cost per acquisition. This is a good one to watch in terms of marketing. Because your cost per acquisition, what that really means is, how much does it cost for you to get one additional customer? So there's, I think this calculation is geared towards new customers, but if you don't have a way to track who is new and who isn't, cost per acquisition of just another customer or another sale is an important thing to watch. So you can do marketing plus sales expenses divided by the total number of customers that you have. And typically this is done over a week or a month. Things move pretty fast over the holidays, and so that's why I put this on a weekly basis. Throughout the rest of the year, you might want to look at this on a monthly basis. So pro tip, re-engage your existing customers with an email blast. So folks that have purchased from you in the last 12 or 24 months, bring them back in. Say, hey, we're getting ready for the holidays. You know, how was that product that you used however long ago? And then you can say, you know, if you're out, here's the link to reorder. Or if you loved it and want to buy it for somebody else, here's a link to reorder. You know, come check out our new deals, come visit us on Small Business Saturday. Typically there is a lag in online shopping between when folks actually are like scrolling around and when folks actually click the button to make that purchase. And even then, there's typically a lag between when they say they want to purchase it and they put it in their cart, and then when they actually pay for it. So that can be up to a month. So for example, I do all of my holiday shopping on Amazon Prime Day. I shop small, but I do it on Amazon Prime Day because I know, A, I'm traveling over the holiday season, and so I don't want to lug all these gifts with me. So I just get them shipped up north to my family up north. Second, I know this is a really busy time for my clients, and I don't want to be stressing about my own holiday shopping when clients need my help for their businesses to sell their stuff. So I do all my shopping ahead of time, and I know what I'm going to buy. And so when you're thinking through your customer's experience, think about how far in advance are they likely to purchase. And so this kind of gets to, how well do you know your clients? Are they the type to plan ahead of time and create a budget and stick to that budget? If so, then you will need to be in their periphery about a month ahead of time. So that's why we're having this conversation now, so that you can start re-energizing your customers, re-engaging with your community, so that when it does come time for Small Business Saturday, your folks are already clicking that button. They know where they're going to go to get what products they want to buy for the holidays. Another pro tip on cost per acquisition: use user-generated content. Use user-generated content to curate your community. And so having user-generated content will allow you to have more content, spend less on marketing. it'll boost your social credibility essentially. And so you'll be able to get more folks, kind of developing and sharing your social media feeds. And then the last thing that you want to watch weekly are ad costs and conversion rates. How many folks are actually making the leap to actually purchase? So your ad cost, that's kind of a dollar amount. Conversion rates, that's going to be a percentage or a ratio essentially. So how many people are looking at your website? How many people are shopping and making that purchase? Okay, mapping your customer experience is one of the first things that you can do pretty far in advance. So what is the experience of your customer if they are interested in purchasing your products? So the first step is that they're going to need to find your website. They're going to need to find you somewhere, right? So is your SEO, is your marketing content set up so that if you're selling, let's say, hairbrushes, for example, and they would make a great gift, you can have a label for that gift saying best hairbrush for X, Y, and Z. And then when somebody searches, best gifts for X, Y, and Z, your hairbrush will show up. How easy is it for them to navigate your site? How easy is it for them to check out? Do they have to create an account and navigate through setting up a whole thing, or can they just, is it a couple clicks, right? So that's the kind of experience that you want to check on to see how are they navigating, how easy is it for them to actually check out. Is there a payment confirmation? What kind of confirmation is it? Is it just a screen, or do they get an email? How does all that work? Does it redirect them to your blog or your social media page for further engagement? Notifications about delivery and updates. This is a really important one if you have a product that may be delayed. So you want to let folks know as soon as possible if there's going to be a delay, and you want to offer them any kind of either refund or exchange for an item that's in stock that can be shipped to them sooner, right? Because people are stressing about the holidays. We're either able to get together or not able to get together, and everything's pretty stressful at this point. So you don't want your shopping experience to add to their stress, because that is a very quick way to lose a customer. So keeping them informed, even if you have bad news, being upfront about it is definitely the best way to go. What's their unboxing like? Are you encouraging them to share what their experience is as they open up the package? And how easy is it for them to contact customer service if they have a question, a problem, or need to make a return? Review, refer, and return to shop for more. So that's the life cycle of, or a potential life cycle of a customer experience. You basically want them to end up back on your website so that they can continue purchasing, or they can refer friends to your website so that they can purchase. Okay, next step is to check the technology involved. So first thing we mentioned was, are they able to find you? So specifically here, we're talking about your online store. Are they able to find your online store? Run tests to see how easy it is for them to find you. So your computer will automatically save cookies on your website. And that makes it easier for you to navigate to pages that you've been to before. But if you're asking someone who's never found you before to find you, they have to bridge that gap, right? They have to get there first for those cookies to remember that that's a site that they want to visit. So if you're checking and running your experiments, or checking on what your customer experience really is in finding you, you have to clear your cookies. Now, word to the wise, if you use if your browser has and automatically fills a lot of your passwords for you, when you clear your cookies, it's going to erase those passwords. So do not do that unless you have your passwords saved and written down somewhere. And I'll talk about password managers in a little bit, but that's important. Don't just go clear your cookies right now. It takes like a little bit of preparation to do that. The next tip is to run page speed tests and mobile friendliness tests. And these can be done for free through Google's website. And basically it just gives you a score. It tells you whether it's great, whether it's fast or whether it's not fast, whether it's mobile friendly, whether it's not mobile friendly. Now, if you use something like Shopify or Squarespace or even SquareUp, and most Wix sites will do this automatically, but you want to check, you want to just double check, because usually, and I do a lot of website reviews, usually there are a couple pages that load very slowly. So if you have a gorgeous image or a beautiful video that you have like scrolling across your website, you want to just make sure that that's not dragging your page speed down, because we've all had the experience where you go to a website and it doesn't load and it doesn't load and you leave, right? That's what's going to happen if your page loads too slowly. You've got about 5 seconds, maybe less. And so making sure your website loads quickly, you have control over that. You can just run this test, see what is, what might be holding up the speed of your website. And whatever it is, there's lots of different applications on the web to help shrink images without losing too much quality. Or you can have them actually be embedded in, it can be like on your social media, and that's embedded in your website. So you're not drawing too much, you're not using too much power to actually load your website, because all of that lives somewhere else. So that's kind of checking your technology. Connect your social pages. So link your Facebook and Instagram account. Linking your store and your social media account means that in your social media account, you have links to your website. On Facebook, you can add products as well. You want to make sure that you have business pages for these, and you can convert personal to business pages. You want to set up an Instagram checkout. So the first step in setting up an Instagram checkout is to check to make sure that your products or services meet the commerce guidelines of Facebook and Instagram. Most businesses do. It's things like organs, like you can't sell organs on Facebook or Instagram. I don't think anybody, I don't want to know if you're selling organs. Then convert it to from your personal to a business account. And I think I walk you through that on the next slide. The next thing that you want to connect is your Google My Business page. And if you haven't set up a Google My Business page, it's a great way to get visibility on Google. Google My Business is like when you search for a local store. So say you typed in the Alabama Small Business Development Center into Google. What would show up is the listings in text. And then on the left-hand or on the right-hand side, there would be like a box, and it's got like a map and a picture and Google reviews, and it's got the Q&A and hours and things like that. That's the Google My Business page. And you can link that to your website or your social media page. And instead of going to somewhere else, it will go to your pages. Okay, so how to switch from Instagram personal to a business profile. First step is you go to the app and go to your profile. You'll tap those 3 lines, the menu lines in the top right corner, and go to settings and account. You can either from there go to switch to professional account or get more tools, and it will ask you the same question if you do either of those. It will ask you which best describes you, and you'll say business. And this is how to convert a personal account. If you're starting from scratch, you just create a business profile. Then you can connect your Instagram business profile to an existing Facebook page, or if you don't have an existing business Facebook page, you can create a new one here. And then you review your contact information to make sure it's up to date and tap done. So pretty simple process. If you want to know more about how to Instagram like you own it, we did a video on that. And so you can check out our YouTube page for the Instagram like you own it. We've got 2 other really amazing videos on maximizing your brand using online tools, and they take a deep dive into all aspects of running a a marketing campaign on online. The other two videos that are really good if you're just starting out are creating an authentic brand story and launch your online business in less than 30 days. And going through that tutorial, I think you can be done in less than 2 days, honestly, but give yourself 30 days because life is crazy, right? Okay, so customer service really matters during the holidays. You don't want to be part of the problem, you want to be part of the solution. So give your customers opportunities to talk to you if they want to. You can use chatbots, you can use a dedicated email address. For example, you can use customer.service. whatever your business name is at gmail.com. And then you can use Google or Gmail filters to filter those specific email address or emails to a specific folder so that you don't lose track of them, so that they don't like just get muddled in with all the other emails that you get. Those will stand out specifically. Like you can give Gmail rules on what to do with that. And bonus, Gmail is free. So you can just create that business customer service email address and folks will know they're getting a dedicated line. Folks expect a response within 24 hours. Generally, less is definitely more in this case. So the faster you can respond to folks, the better they're going to perceive your customer service. And honestly, what I would recommend doing is having a dedicated phone number for business hours and then an email address that you can point folks to for after hours concerns. I would also recommend creating a frequently asked questions page. You want to write these questions from the perspective of your clients. So how do I make a return? How do I get in touch with customer service? How do I know if this fits right? So you want to include commonly asked questions. And if you're not sure what questions to ask your friends and family. They'll let you know what questions you should be asking. Or do some research online and find other brands that have similar products to yours and see what their FAQ questions are. And then you also want to make sure you include customer service contact information there. So one note about the dedicated phone number, Google Voice is free. And if you use the personal version, the business version you do pay for, but Google Voice Personal is free. It transcribes voicemails into text messages and sends them to your email. So it's a really nice way to make sure that you don't miss important customer service calls. People are more likely to leave negative reviews. People are more likely to leave negative reviews than positive ones. And so cultivating those positive reviews, asking people to review you, things like that is a really nice way to tell people that they matter to you, you matter to them, kind of thing. Okay, as promised, passwords and analytics. So password managers are an absolute must in this day and age. Cybersecurity is an increased threat. I don't know if you heard on the news today, but hospitals are being targeted around the US, and having a strong password is the best way that you can protect yourself. So you not just want to have strong passwords, you want to have different passwords across your different, your personal bank account should not be the same password as your business bank account. Your bank accounts should not be the same passwords as your social media. And all of these passwords build up very, very quickly. And so having a password manager takes the headache out of all of that. I've used all three that are listed here. There are many, many more. But you can just basically, they live on they live in your browser, they live on your phone, they live on your desktop. So they live across all of your devices, and you only have to remember the one login password to that essentially database of your passwords. And then you can keep strong passwords. They offer like a, what's it called? They have like a tool that you can set the combination of letters and numbers or words, or because each website has its own very particular way that they like the password to be structured. So some websites like you to have special characters, some websites say no special characters, and so you can just kind of flip that switch, and then boom, the password manager takes care of it. It saves it. You don't have to worry about that scrappy piece of paper that's always got coffee stains on. It takes care of it for you. And then you've got strong passwords, and you don't have to remember, or every time you go to log into your Wix or Shopify account, you don't have to recreate that password, right? Because that's going to slow it down. So having a password manager is an absolute must. LastPass has a free version. 1Password and Dashlane, I think, are about $30 a year. So it's not even a huge cost. It's $30 for, like, I mean, how many times a day do you log into things, right? It's great. Keychain essentially does the same thing if you use Apple products. It just doesn't work as seamlessly. So I switched from using Keychain and Google passwords to save my passwords. One, because I love Google, but I don't trust them with my passwords. You know, I don't want them to have my bank account information. And second, Keychain just, it wasn't working as quickly as I needed it. Sometimes it would save things, sometimes it wouldn't save things. And so I know with my password manager that it's always just being saved. Analytics. So the other passwords and analytics, these are kind of the very back end things that are going to help make your business a success this holiday season. So Google Analytics is the most popular. And so in the PowerPoint or in the PDF that you'll get after the presentation, these links are all live. So if you use Shopify, if you use Etsy, if you use Wix, if you use SquareUp, those are the links to incorporate Google Analytics into your website so that you can more efficiently track and understand what people are doing when they get to your page. How are they finding you? What is the search term? How often or how long are they staying on your page? Do they ever end up on the checkout page? And if so, do they actually check out, or do they abandon their cart? Okay, building your marketing plan. So the first thing you want to do is pick whichever day you want to work backwards from. Usually that is the big holiday. So for this piece, we are talking about whatever day you want off. So if you want to take Hanukkah off, those are the days that you're going to work backwards from. If you want to take Christmas and Christmas Eve off, then you're going to work backwards from the 23rd. So basically you're working backwards from that date to the present. The next thing that you want to pick out is, what is the last order date that your customers can place an order and that you can guarantee them delivery by the holiday. So if they place an order on December 23rd, can you get it to them on the 24th or 25th? Probably not. Probably not. That's really, really close. So you want to think through, how long does it take mail to get to places, and set kind of a last order date. This is always a little bit of a gamble. So if you say, if you're creating a handmade item, or if you have a built to order kind of product, then you're going to need it to be at least, I mean, I would say probably 10 days out, right? 3 days to fulfill or put together that product, and then a couple more days to get it shipped out and get it there on time. You want to have low promises and meet high expectations, basically. So you want to under promise and over perform. That's the term I was looking for. Under promise and over perform. So if you say the last order that's going to get to you by December 25th has to be placed on December 15th, giving you 10 days, and then somebody places an order on the 16th or 17th and it gets there, I mean, that's fantastic, right? They know they may not actually get it on time for that holiday, but you've set the expectation so that they're going to be happily surprised, rather than the other way, promising that, oh yeah, if you order it on the 24th, I will absolutely get it there. I mean, at that point, you're driving it there. So, and that's not what you want to be doing on Christmas Eve. I mean, if it is, good for you. If it's not, I mean, that's not what I want to be doing on Christmas Eve. So, then working backwards from that last order date, you want to plan your last sale or marketing push, right? End of year, you want to get rid of some of your inventory to prepare for the winter, prepare for the spring season, essentially, so that you can use the revenue and profit from the sales derived over Christmas to purchase your springtime inventory. And so to do that, you need to clear out some of that inventory, but not to the extent where you're losing that profit margin, right? Because you're not just trying to liquidate everything. This is not a going out of business sale. This is you're building the profit to sustain your business for next year. So you want to plan that last marketing push, and then plan the content and sales leading up to that last order. And then finally, determining when you need to purchase your inventory or supplies to meet that increase in demand. So let's talk about content. Let's talk about content. This is a busy slide, so I apologize. Basically, your content should follow a 5 to 3 to 1 rule. So if you have 10 posts, we'll just take an example. Say all of your marketing is 10 posts. You should have 5 posts that are engaging, 3 that are informative, and 1 that is salesy. So of those 10 posts, 1 is pushing your products. The other 9 are really, does that add up? Sorry, 5, 3, 2. I'm so sorry, I did that math wrong. 5, 3, 2. So you want to make sure that you've got 5 engaging, 3 informative, and 2 sales type posts, so that not everything you do is just pushing. That's going to overwhelm people. It's going to turn them off, right? You want to bring folks into your community. You want to inform them about why your products are part of a larger system that's going to make them happier, healthier, smarter, their pets happier, whatever your products and services are, that you're going to cushion that sales content into information and engaging content. Using graphics and videos. We are squarely into the scrolling through Instagram, looking at videos for particular content. TLDR, too long didn't read, is a real thing. And I've noticed this now with almost all the blogs that I read now have a 5-minute read, 3-minute read, 15-minute read at the top of them, so that you know how much time to dedicate to that actual blog post, right? Whereas videos and graphics, I mean, how many hours do Americans spend on Netflix and YouTube? I mean, that's, aside from sleeping, probably where we spend most of our lives. So leveraging live events and stories will increase your engagement. Have an opportunity for customers to interact with you, and then schedule posts regularly. And so the important word here is schedule, or words are schedule and regularly. The kind of frequency that's recommended is 2 to 3 times a day for Instagram, once or twice a day for Facebook, and once a week for either a blog or LinkedIn. These are just rough. If you know that your customers don't spend that much time on Instagram, don't spend that much time on Facebook, you determine where your content is going to have the highest impact. If you can't do this many times a week, don't do like 10 posts a week and then be silent for 2. Don't do that. Just do 1 or 2 posts a week, whatever you can sustain. Now, scheduling is the other piece of that. You want to automate this process as much as possible so that you don't have to sit there in the middle of when you're trying to figure out, your kids log into Zoom for their virtual learning, and be like, and have this pressure on you about needing to get that post out before the end of the day, or having that brilliant idea and then forgetting it because something more urgent comes up. So scheduling posts in advance is a really good way to do it. You can schedule them a week in advance, or you can take a whole day and schedule a month. Use 2 to 4 hashtags in your social posts. 1 or 2 of them should be your brand or your product hashtag, and then the other 2 should be relevant to your customers or the category that you're selling on. So for example, if you're selling on Green Monday, you may want to do hashtag eco-friendly, something like that. And then consider using user-generated content and keeping your SEO and search terms in mind when you're doing these hashtags. And the user-generated content, if you want to learn more about the user-generated content, do check out the Instagram Like You Own It video. that talks more about actually using and curating user-generated content. Lisa asks, is it okay to play with posting times? For instance, instead of posting at 7 a.m. on Tuesday, posting at 3 p.m., or would that impact the appearance of being consistent? No, it would not, especially if you have a smaller audience, you're still trying to find that. What I would recommend is you do a week of one time consistently and then try a different time. And if you get more engagement during that different time, then you know that's the one to stick with. But people's lives consistently change, right? So, do play around with those times. Maybe you have, that's what I would recommend. I would recommend doing what we call a week-long sprint and just trying one particular, like running an experiment almost, where you have your controlled variables. And so your control is that you're posting once a day, but the time is what's changing, and that's okay to do. So that's perfectly okay, Lisa. Great question. Okay, so there are a lot of really wonderful stock images out there that you can use for some of that engaging or entertaining content. And I've listed a number of them here. There are more, believe it or not. And these are for the most part, and I would encourage you to double check on the licenses. And so what you want to look for is the Creative Commons 0 license. That means it's available for commercial use without attribution. Now, all of these are small businesses. Most photographers are small businesses. And so out of respect, I would encourage you to credit them, especially because their pictures are really, really beautiful. And so use stock images sparingly, because people do want to see your authentic brand. They want to see that you are really there, that you're part of the community and connecting. But it's definitely nice to have some stock images on hand if you're looking to develop an inspirational Monday morning quote or something like that. That doesn't necessarily need to be, one of your direct products. Similarly, we've got stock videos. So Life of Vids is one of my favorite. They have these time-lapse videos of different landscapes. Some are like the ocean, some are streams and videos. They have these great cityscapes as well. But they're really, really beautiful. And again, Life of Vids is Creative Commons 0, so it's commercially available without crediting or paying the author. Couple tools, graphic design tools. Most common is definitely Canva right now. It's a free and very easy to use design tool. The free version, I think you can still upload your brand colors and you can upload your own images and things like that, but you can't automatically resize. So if you wanted to create a post for Facebook and for Instagram, you'd have to actually create them separately. Mockups, if you sell a product that can be placed on a t-shirt or something like that, Placeit does mockups. And then keyword searching. Google Keyword Planner is kind of the go-to. So that's a great place for you to figure out, okay, what are people searching for? How much would it cost if I wanted to run a Google ad? Okay, getting down to the end of this presentation, I want you to try and automate as much as possible. The holiday season is overwhelming, right? You've got inventory, you're putting that inventory in boxes and shipping it out. You're, getting ready for your own holiday parties. And so use marketing tools that automate as much as possible. So the top automation tools for scheduling posts, Later, Hootsuite, and Buffer are some of the most common. ContentCal, Promo Republic, AgroPulse, and Lumley are newer, but they are very well acclaimed as well. Later is really easy to use. Most of these are, I think Later even has a free version. So the difference between the different levels are going to be, basically price is a big point. How many social accounts you can connect. Usually the limit on free accounts is like 3 or 4, and then paid accounts is usually up to 10 for the first sort of tier, and then how you can schedule them. So with Later, for example, you can actually schedule Instagram stories, and so you can create that super engaging content on your own time and not feel pressured to do it in the moment as as things are happening. Sales tax. Sales tax is a big one. Most platforms allow you to do run sales tax reports pretty easily. But if you want to automate that process, the two automation companies that I know of are TaxJar and Avalara. TaxJar is more small business friendly, but both of them really smooth that process out. They just do sales taxes though. So they don't do your other taxes. It's really just for sales taxes. And then fulfillment automation. If you're doing something like if you've got Fulfilled by Amazon, that's already going to be kind of automated. But if you have a product that you're actually putting together, you use Shopify, Shopify's Flow feature is a good way to automate that that process. I believe the other platforms also have a sort of triggering event that you can use to notify you about what needs to happen next. And then customer service. You can auto respond to emails letting them know that their email was received and it will receive attention in the next X amount of time. Remember, I wouldn't say it's going to be, if somebody emails you at 1 a.m. and you say, thanks so much for emailing us, we'll get back to you in 20 minutes, because that's what your normal daytime response is. That's going to be, you're not getting up at 1:20 in the morning to resolve this customer's complaint. Just set a reasonable time for yourself to get back to them. Okay, so let's review. First things first, pick your important dates and work backwards. Number 2, keep an eye on your metrics. So whatever your goals are, keep an eye on the metrics that match those. Keep an eye on your bank account to make sure that it's not drawn down too low. 3, map your customer experience. Number 4, double check that all your technology works, right? Are people getting hung up here or there? Is it easy for them to check out? Once they check out, what happens? You run through it, have somebody else run through it that you know and like, that can help you resolve that process. That's a great place for a business advisor to step in. Create your customer service department. And so whether that's just you, which for most people it's just them, having a dedicated service line will make people feel more comfortable. Use strong passwords and rely on analytics to help you make those strategic decisions. So back to Lisa's question about whether you should be posting at 7 a.m. or 3 p.m. A lot of that automation software will suggest ideal times, and then you can validate that by using those analytics, saying, oh, when I posted at 7 a.m. I didn't get as much engagement, but I got more sales from that. So I had a higher percentage of people who would actually come to my site and purchase things, which makes those ad spending dollars worth more. I don't know if any of that's true, but that's an example of how you could use that flow. So use strong passwords and analytics, and then plan and automate your marketing, sales, taxes, and fulfillment, because the last thing you want to do is either miss something or send something to the wrong person and have upset customers. So with that, I will take any questions you have. If they're not directly related to this, ask anyways, and I'll get back to you over email, or we can figure out a different way. So if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself or just drop your questions in the chat. I'll put my little hat back on. It's my question and answer hat. Yeah. All right. Let's see if I'll stay. Robert, what are your thoughts on helping? What are your customers? What are your clients coming to you with questions about these days relative to the holidays?
So, yeah, I mean, I think that what we're seeing more of from folks is really how to leverage social media for promotion. And I really, I was interested in your guidance on how to really, lay out your social media based on this timeline to get your messaging out.
And the automation makes that so much easier. So having that, like, kind of thinking through what your calendar might look like over, what kinds of topics you want to talk about, it's so much easier to do in advance. So this is our YouTube channel. And so you can see we've got a whole bunch of different videos. Instagram Like You Own It really dives into the Instagram game. And then the other ones that I mentioned are maximizing your online tools, number one. Sorry, let me back up. If you're not online yet, the first one you want to watch is Launch Online in Less Than 30 Days. It's an hour. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but I encourage you to watch that first. That is a great introduction to getting your business online. The second one I'd watch is Maximizing Your Online Tools Part 1 and Part 2. And then I would watch Instagram Like You Own It. Okay, Adrian asks, I've noticed that some companies have placed things about possible delay shipping due to COVID. For the holidays, is that something you'd want to let your customers know, as well as the possible holidays delays? It really depends on what your business, it really depends on your business. So if you expect delays, then definitely let folks know. If you're not sure, then say it's possible. But the more you can understand about your product, like how your product is manufactured, delivered to wholesale, if you're keeping the inventory, or if you're drop shipping, so your customers are ordering through you and then the manufacturer or distributor is actually distributing it, then you want to talk to them about what potential delays there are, what kind of transparency you have about the inventory that you have in stock. So having your inventory organized is a key piece to figuring out whether or not you're going to have delays due to COVID. I think it's probably a safe bet to put that up there, because at this point, as safe as you can be, we're as safe as the communities that we interact with, right? So I'm in Tuscaloosa, college town. There's a higher density of people here. So every time I go to Target, it's a risk that I pick up COVID, right? And so that's not something I can necessarily control, but it is nice to let people know that, okay, this is a real thing. There are possible delays. Great question.
So, Catherine, one of the observations that I thought I might throw out there is that we have tried for years to really, especially downtown, to really promote Small Business Saturday. And we've had very, very little luck with it. And it's because it's also Iron Bowl Saturday in Alabama. But I think for you folks that are on, that you have an e-commerce platform, are really in a strong position, if you want to take advantage of that, to really push that shop local message that Catherine was talking about, and to leverage American Express, because they are backing up that campaign with millions of dollars. So, somebody can absolutely shop online and shop local and still watch the football game.
Absolutely. Facebook is doing a Buy Black Fridays hashtag for the next couple weeks, so that's something else to work into your marketing plan if you're a minority business owner, is to buy Black Fridays. But yeah, the American Express is small. Let me see, where was I? Here it is. The download materials, and you can get badges, social posts, blog posts, digital banners. And use them in your marketing materials. And I think they let you have pretty free reign over them. And so you can, that's automatically, extra marketing material in your calendar that you can use. And you can put them, you can put that buy small, shop small poster like on your website as well, to make sure that people know, you are a small business, and when they're shopping from your website, they're supporting like real people in their communities. So all right, well, if there are no other questions, I'm going to just put put my contact information up here again. And that way, any questions you have, if you're not already registered with us, the link to register is asbdc.org/register. And then you'll be assigned a business advisor who can help you with many, many aspects of these, of the building the marketing calendar and integrating things like that, and making your business a success this year. Sometimes all I do is listen to people who are stressing out about where their business is going and letting them know that A, that you're not alone, because everybody is stressing this time of year, and B, that resources are here to help, basically. So
Absolutely.
thank you all so much for your attendance and your great questions tonight. Last question, I guess. Would this be do you want me to keep doing these? Like, do you want another sort of maybe simpler or dive into one particular category? I'm thinking I'd like to do these frequently as we approach Small Business Saturday, but I need to know whether it's something that folks would actually show up for. Any thoughts on that? Well,
Anybody?
you can give me, yeah, very informative. Yes, yes. Okay, great.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we will look at what we can put together. Email me. I'd love to hear. I'm going to send out a survey in just a couple minutes that'll have the link to the PDF, and then we'll post the video of this online on YouTube. That'll probably go up in the next couple days. And then anybody who wants some additional assistance, please reach out to myself at ASBDC, Robert at Rev, and we can really connect you into all of these 16 different organizations that are really here to help you grow and to bring you back. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
Have a good evening. Thanks.